Hey, Joanne, Adrian, Amanda, how are you guys? You guys hear me okay? Hello, William. Hello, Ken. Let me know if you guys hear me okay. Hello, David. Hey, Karen. Thank you. Nate, how are you, buddy? 2 times in 1 week, Nate. Hello, Amy. How are you, Carolyn? Happy Baby Friday to everyone. I just got on a few minutes early here to give people a chance. I didn't plan on doing this. Hello, Eric. Hey, Jeff. How are you, my friend? Beautiful, beautiful day here in Bowling Green, Kentucky. I had to be outside. What's up, Nate? What's the question? Hello, Tammy. Michelle. Hi, Amy. Pac-Man, yeah. There's only one Pac-Man, and I'm not Filipino. Only one true Pac-Man. Thanks, Ken. I didn't know you were in Cincy, Ken. I don't know why. I thought you were down in Nashville. Maybe because of your ties to Gary, I guess. What's up, Nate? How are you, Nick? Funny guy. Hello, David. David, Crow, how are you, my friend? You're crazy, Nate. I haven't had hello, Donna, Mitch. I haven't had a sip of bourbon or scotch in like a week or week and a half, I think. I don't know. Just a beautiful day. Hello, Tammy. Oh, New Zealand. I think I have a new favorite bourbon. This one right here. Old Forester 1920, 115 proof. I think it's my new favorite. Man, is it good. Hello, Glenda, or Tony, posing as Glenda. Which one are you? Hello, Christine. Ah, that's good, Nick. I was hoping you two meatheads would get together. You guys need to train dogs shirtless and oil each other up and put it on video before you train. It'll be so popular, bro. It'll be like your new thing. Just a couple of meatheads. Yeah, doing well, David. You know, doing well. Hello, Josh. Yoris, what's up, my friend? How are things down in Texas? I'm gonna try a new app out too. I'm gonna get tomorrow to do lives that Notch Russell uses, because his lives are always so good and clear when he brings someone on. So I asked him what it was, and I'm gonna get it tomorrow. And so hopefully start talking to some of you folks, bring you on the lives and just talk. We need to get into more dogs and stay out of all the craziness. Monday, we'll get started here in a minute. 6:59. Hey, Skip, what's going on, buddy? Monday, listen, guys. When I posted a video that was a little political last week, and a lifelong friend of mine, you know, had to make a video because he felt bad because I was taking a lot of backlash. I don't talk a lot of politics on here anymore. I stay away from it, you know. I have very strong opinions, but they're pretty much in the middle, you know. And on some things I'm very conservative, some things I'm very liberal. I'm all over the place, you know. I don't believe in a party, because you have a lot of scumbags on both sides, you know. But when I put that thing out about the kneeling for the flag and Shannon Sharp, and then my buddy, who's a black man, we've been friends since the first grade, you know, like brothers, he put out a video, you know, because I got a lot of backlash about it, because there's people out there that think that, what's going on, Oscar? How are you, brother? A lot of people, hey, George, how are you, buddy? There's a lot of people out there, hey, Greg, that think I should only talk about dogs and anything else, you know, nothing else. And here's the thing. This is my personal page. It's mostly dog stuff, but you guys see family stuff, you see food stuff, and I'm pretty much open. You know what I mean? I don't really hide much, and I'm inappropriate sometimes. I don't take myself very serious. I don't take life very serious. I like to have a good time. You know, I really do. And so many of you have supported me. I've blocked so many people this week, And it's funny, you know, because it's all the same shit. And I don't want to see constant nastiness on my page from either side. You know what I mean? But Monday, it's not going to be very dog related, but I think it's going to be important. I'm going to do a live with my lifelong friend, my brother from another mother, Dante McCarroll, back home. We grew up in Jersey, and you know, we've been lifelong friends. And there's going to be a lot of open discussion because I love him, he loves me, and we won't agree on everything, but there's nothing that he can say that's going to hurt my feelings, and vice versa, because we know each other deep down inside very well. So I think we're going to probably talk about things that no one really wants to talk about on either side. It'll probably get me unfriended by a lot of people that don't want to hear that, you know, but it doesn't matter, I think. And I thought hard and you know, good and hard about it, but you know, people tell me, you know, you're gonna hurt your business if you're gonna offend so many people. I don't really give a damn about that. I'm always gonna speak the truth and be honest, you know. And when I posted that video from Shannon Sharp, it's because, hey Mike, what's going on, buddy? It's because it did give me a new thought on something. It made me see things a little differently, you know. And I thought it was important to support my lifelong friends, my black friends. It was important for me to stand by their side, even if I didn't agree with anything, because if it comes down to an ideology or being loyal to my friends, I'm always going to be loyal. You know, loyalty is real important to me, and those are guys that have backed me 100% no matter what, always. And I never forget stuff like that. And you have to be, hey Robin, you know. Yeah, that's it, Oscar. You know, it's true. What's up, Israel? Israel Cedar Taz Galindo. One of the best names out there, brother. Hope you're doing well, you know. But I haven't done many lives, you know. I've been busy with dogs and just, you know, trying to get back in the swing of things. Things are starting to open up. The gyms are back open, thank God. I cut the weight gain off at 21 pounds, started hitting the weights a little bit again, trying to get back to normal. And there's so many of you on here right now. Hey Nikki, Timmy, what's going on, buddy? Karen, you got it, Oscar. Friendship is earned, you know, it is earned. And Facebook creates, hey Robin, you know, sometimes people think they know you because of Facebook, you know, and I get that, especially me, because I am out there and I don't, you know, like I said, I talk about all kinds of inappropriate things because I don't really give a damn, you know. But where I grew up back home, Lodi, New Jersey, it's very different from where I'm at in Kentucky now, you know. I grew up with all kinds and all colors and all nationalities in my house. That was just normal for us. That wasn't a novelty like it is in a lot of places. You know, so when I see some of these douchebags now on both sides preaching shit and causing trouble that have never known anything outside of what they are, it just kind of sickens me. Yeah, Robin, I know, you know, like, you know, my wife's family's in Monroe and they're just on lockdown. Hey Cody, what's going on, buddy? You know, so hello Abby. So Monday, I'd like you guys to tune in, and I normally don't ask that. I don't ask you guys to share my videos, I don't do that, you know. I don't ask you to sign into my lives. I let you know I'm here. If you want to, you get on. I already see several people tune up because they think it's probably going to be political. It's not. I just wanted you to know. You got it, George. George, my first Honduran friend, brother. That's you. Again, first grade, lifelong friends. I've been to Honduras several times since then, you know, George. Hey, Adam. All right, so let's get started. So, as usual, I've talked to a lot of trainers this week. You know, a lot of trainers struggling with specific cases. And the same questions keep arising, guys. When I say something, what I'm going to tell you doesn't mean it's the best way, it's the only way. I'm just telling you what I do. You guys ask me, and I'm going to tell you. You got it, brother. I look forward to it, Oscar. A lot of different scenarios, a lot of different problems with specific dogs, specific problems. But the questions that trainers are asking are about what method, which tool, stuff like that. What should I do here? What should I do there? Guys, if you know me and what I do, how I train with the dogs, behavior comes first. That's 80% of the problem, at least, if not more, maybe 90%. Behavior comes first. But behavior is silent. It's almost invisible at times. There are no commands. There is no talking. It's silent. Obedience, which is 20% at most, is talking, is verbal. It's commands. The dog doing something or not doing something, starting something, stopping something. And obedience is part of the equation, guys. There's no doubt about it. But teaching your dog come sit down and heel and place and all that stuff, it's never going to fix your serious problems if you're failing inside the home. Okay? I keep all board and trains here for pretty much at least a month now. Okay? That's a lot of training, a lot of repetitions. But what I focus on more is the behavior. The dog being on a leash with me, doing nothing, okay? Learning how to behave in and out of the crate, learning how to wait at the doors, learning to respect my space, learning how not to, crowd or take my space or other people's, space around them. All these little things. Not letting the dog get excited, allowing the dog to get excited when it's okay, the use of touch and affection. All these things create that behavior, and that's everything. So I'll give you an example. Margaret Rita, the German Short-Haired Pointer I have now, that dog is kind of batshit crazy. She really is. And I'll have her here for a month. Right away, all the questions I get about her are e-collar related, and I'm not sure why. Because that's going to be such a small part of her training. It's an important part because of the way she is, okay? So I just put the e-collar on her and started the work, at like day 10. So those first 10 days, everything is on leash. Everything is under control. She trains beautifully on leash. Like, she's doing fantastic with all the basics. Like, really, really well. Fast, excited, loves life. Very nice dog to train. On the behavior, I've worked very hard because she gets really worked up and excited and crazy, and that's when dogs get in trouble. That's when they make the mistakes. So I have to focus on all those little things very, very hard. Okay, when I go to her crate, if she's dancing around and shaking, I can't open that crate and put the leash on her and pull her out like that. It's defeating the purpose. She has to learn to settle down, and then the leash goes on. And then I bring her out of the crate. And then when I go to the door to let her out, the door opens, she's not allowed to go out. She has to just relax. And I don't ask for obedience. I don't tell her to sit or down or anything. I don't say anything. Controlling space without saying anything is a lot more powerful than giving the dog a command or a leash correction, okay? If she tries to move forward, I'm not giving her a leash correction. I'm going to move her with spatial pressure and use my body to get her to move back. Go. And dogs, 100% of the dogs I've ever worked with respond to that immediately. Immediately. They move, they give you that space, and there's that invisible, boundary there that works beautifully. Then we go. Then I walk across my patio or across my driveway, and when we get to the grass, I don't say anything. She knows to sit and just be pretty and relax. Then I say free dog, and she can go sniff, she can go pee, she can do all those things. There is no freedom for her right now where she's just running around batshit crazy, because that's not going to help her in any way. It's going to hurt everything we're trying to do, okay? And I have taken her off leash, in the fenced-in area, of course. And what happens is when she is off leash, it's This, every time, 2 middle fingers. She's not going to respond to me at this point off leash in the fenced in area at all. Okay? So if she's so non-responsive off leash, that means I have to do a lot more work on leash. All right? So now I just started the e-collar work. It doesn't go any different than any other dog. There is no punishment, there are no higher levels, there's no dialing up, there's no corrections. Okay? It's using the obedience that she knows very well. Come, sit, down, place, all the basics. She knows that stuff inside and out on leash. Fast, no hesitations, okay? I'm taking the obedience that she knows to teach her what the e-collar means. But today, there's still a ton of people out there taking the e-collar to teach the obedience they want the dog to know. And you know how I feel about that. It's a tremendous mistake in my book, you know, and that's why the dogs look the way they do, guys. There's just too much pressure, too much conflict. And at the same time, when we're not training, we're going to give the dog what she loves most. If she likes to chase a ball, she's going to chase a ball. She'll be on a long line, but she's going to chase a ball. She likes to tug a little bit. I'm building that up more in her. We're going to tug. I have to give her an outlet to do what comes natural to her, to do the things she loves most. And all that together, the behavior, the obedience, which is small, but also allowing the dog to express herself and do the things she loves. That's going to make the training go a lot faster, and it's going to make her wanting to interact with me a lot more. A lot more. But that stuff has to be done. It has to be done. Now, I know a lot of trainers that work with dogs with behavioral problems, and you take away all their freedom, you cut their life off. I get it, that's part of it. But then there's nothing in it for the dog. And that's a huge mistake. There has to be something in it for the dog. The dog has to have some kind of outlet to enjoy themselves. Because when they don't, it shows. You could see the dog, you could see the eyes, you could see the expression. There is no life there. There's no hope for something better. And so I'm all for controlling everything your dog does when you have a behavioral problem, okay? Everything. But you still have to be able to provide something for that dog. I'll give you an example, and I got a lot of criticism for this at first. I had a dog come down here, human aggression, had some serious bites. It wasn't the worst case of aggression. It wasn't a big scare. It was actually a pretty small dog, probably a 25-pound dog, 30-pound dog. Had some good bites on his record and was extremely possessive over toys and food and everything, okay? He'd bite you over that. He wasn't here longer than a week, and that dog was doing bite work and playing tug and outing beautifully and rebiting every time. And people were really upset. Hey, Bill, they were really upset because they say, why would you have a dog, teach a dog to bite that has aggression issues and has human bites? I said, because you have to bring out the best in the dog and give the dog what's genetically there. You know, expose it. That's what Ivan does. And I'm not Ivan, believe me. But I said it yesterday, no one has influenced play more than Ivan Balabanov. You think you can't bring Ivan a dog with severe aggression? You know what he's going to do with it? He's going to use a lot of play, a lot of tug, a lot of biting, and he's going to fix the dog that way. Because you have to give that dog to release. That dog received one correction the whole time it was here, for the month it was here. One time. That's how many times that dog was physically punished. It was here. And I filmed it. I filmed the biting, the tugging, the outing. I filmed all that stuff so I could show people, okay? I don't just talk about it. You have to show people. And so you guys that are struggling, the trainers, just the ones I've talked to this week, there's not a method that you're going to be able to do that's going to be beneficial to you if you don't understand how the dog functions up here. And it's really that simple, you know, and I've said it many times. Long before I ever did any bite work or head up healing or anything nice, it was 100% behavior for me. I didn't care about anything else. It was a leash and a flat buckle collar. And so to this day, all dogs start on a leash and a flat buckle collar. Yesterday, there was someone kind of giving it to me a little bit on one of the videos about the right leg swing, you know, teaching the dogs to walk nicely. And I only say she was giving it to me a little bit because she's done it before. Not a big deal. It's okay. It's her right. And it's her right to doubt things. And what she said was, why not just put a prong collar on the dog? I can't believe that that idea still exists in dog training, to be honest with you. And what I explained to her was, here's why. Anyone can put a prong collar on a dog and get the dog to stop pulling, get the dog to walk nicely. Does that mean it's trained? No, it's not. Because what happens when that prong collar comes off? Just like with Rita. Her owners use a prong collar, and nothing wrong with it. I'm not against the tool, and I'm not against them using it. But that dog pulls like a tank, like really, really bad. That's why I put the wide leather collar on her, so she can't slip out of it and it doesn't hurt her throat. So if you just, hey Nelson, if you just go to the prong collar, the dog never really learns. The dog's responding to the tool, not you. I want to teach the dog how to walk next to me. Show the dog something. Give a picture. That's why that right leg is so important, because most dogs in less than 10 minutes will walk nicely, okay? Then when the dog understands that and wants to be next to you, instead of going someplace it doesn't even know, now if you want to put the prong collar on, put the prong collar on. Now the tool is allowed to do what it's supposed to do effortlessly. You understand what I'm saying? But there's going to be times when people don't have the tool on the dog. Same thing with the e-collar. Hey, Sandra. Oscar, do you use choke or prong collars? Any dog that comes here with a choke or a prong collar, Oscar, I take it off. I go right to the flat collar. I teach everything with the flat collar. I don't want the tool to be any assistance to me, okay? I want to really teach the dog with a leash and a flat collar. That's just me. And I'm not saying if you start with those tools, it's wrong. It's not. I'm just telling you my reason. I never use prong collars, and I had to make a video explaining I'm not against them. They're great tools. There's nothing wrong with them. I don't have a purpose for them, you know? And then someone in the dog training world that's much bigger than me and someone I respect a great deal, we were talking one day privately, and he said, you know, I've been doing this for 40-something years, and I've seen the e-collar just about get banned and a lot. And he said, you've done a lot to change people's minds. And, you know, I'm proud of that for you. I'm happy. And I was, well, thanks. It really meant a lot to me to hear that, you know. But then what he said next, hey, Mary, he said, hey, Matthew, he said, now imagine if you did that for the prong collar. And I said, son of a bitch, because I don't use them. And so what happens is a lot of people, for some reason, you know, they think if I don't use it, it must be bad. And that's not the case, guys. I'm no gift to dog training. I just do things the way I do them. So I've started using them a little more to show people I'm not anti-prong collar, and it's a great tool. Just don't be so dependent on the tool. Same things with the e-collar, okay? Now, someone asked me, because they asked me, how is Rita doing off leash? I said, she's horrible off leash. I mean, that dog will not come to me if she's off leash in the fenced in area, which isn't that big. She's not going to come to me, right? So what's the first thing they say? Well, why don't you just dial up on the e-collar? No, that's not dog training, guys. Dog's learning nothing. Dog's learning nothing. If I light that dog up in the beginning without her being fully trained, I take a risk of destroying that dog and creating so many superstitions, right? I want that dog to want to fly to me when I say, hey, come here, when she has nothing on. That's the end goal. So again, with the e-collar usage, the way we're going to do it, it's going to be all low level. She's not going to receive any corrections while she's here. It's my job to take the obedience that she knows very well and use that to teach what that e-collar means. So for example, when she's at the end of a 10-foot line and that e-collar comes on first, just like we did when we started, right? Low levels, barely feels it. She works on a 4 or a 5 on a mini educator, and she gets confused, like, what is that? And I say, Rita, come. And the second she turns to come my way, it goes away, and I say yes, because she knows yes means, oh, here comes the food. Now she comes fast. And very quickly, that recall that she knows well is starting to teach her what that weird feeling is, okay? The dog's learning. She's actually learning, because the end goal is that the dog listens whether you have a tool on or not. But you have to teach and educate the dog, okay? So now when I move into the intermittent phase after, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, whatever it is, probably a little slower with her, because off leash, like I said, she's horrible. Now there's going to be a lot of times that I don't use the e-collar to call her. It's just, Rita, come. And if there's a hesitation, then I can tap, tap afterwards. Still the same levels. And when she turns to come to me, I can say yes and reward. So someone asked me the other day, why do you use the e-collar before and after? I do that to teach the dog every way possible what that stimulation means. How to turn it off, how to avoid it. The dog knows it inside out. The dog also knows that when the dog is away from me, and if it just feels tap, tap, tap with no command, that means turn and run to me. That's their default recall command, okay? It's so unbelievably powerful, guys, for the everyday dog owner. All right, so now you guys saw Tibby, the Gordon Setter. Beautiful dog, love her to death, great dog, right? But she's a very driven bird dog. She gets loose, she runs away. That's why she came here. She gets out the door, she's gone. And that incredible family, they're really a phenomenal family, lost their Gordon Setter before her. Same reason, ran out the door, got hit by a car. Is that their fault? No, accidents happen. That's why training's so important. So I've done 3 follow-up lessons now with Tibby at their place. You know what she does now when she runs out the door? Come here, Tibby. She turns around and comes back. It's beautiful. Now the owners can take her to the park and let her run. Dogs have to be off leash and run. They have to. You can't have a dog live from a house or a crate or a pen to a leash. You can't do it. It's not right. They have to be able to run. They have 4 legs for a reason, okay? The average dog owner is not going to be able to get to the level of training without the assistance of tools. Very difficult. Some dogs are okay and easy, but some dogs, you're asking people to struggle much longer than they have to. When you can educate them properly and give that dog a life of freedom, which allows the family to enjoy it so much more. You understand? But now what you guys have to understand, let's say a dog like Tibby. We're not just talking about come sit down in place and practice an e-collar stuff. No, not at all. The main thing we do is, first time I went and met them with the dog, we sat down. We sit down and we talk. What goes on inside the home is the most important part of that dog's life. If you can't control your dog inside the home, you don't stand a chance outside the home when there are really tempting things for that dog. Can't do it. You can't do it. So I am not God's gift to dog training. I'm a lifelong student. I spend every single day of my life trying to learn something new. I follow people and learn from people that are much superior to me. Plain and simple. Okay? And when I'm talking to younger trainers, I don't send them to my YouTube page or my website and say, here, follow me. And I don't do that. I send them to Bart and Michael Balone. I send them to Ivan Balabanov, to Dave Croyer, to Tobias Olenek. These are the people I send them to Mike Suttle, to Jerry Bradshaw. I send them to so many different people that have content out there that work in different aspects of dog training. You understand what I'm saying? I want people to learn from people at the top. Really important, really, really important. A lot of those people, you're not going to see the behavior stuff, the stuff we talk about in the home. And that's why it's so important for me, because not a lot of people do focus on that. I do. That's everything for me, guys. Okay? I'm never going to be, IGP world champion, right? I'd love to. That must feel phenomenal. I can't even imagine. Never going to be on an IGP world team. And that must be tremendous, tremendous honor. What an accomplishment, right? But I could tell you right now, after the first dog I ever had that got me started in dog training that I screwed up, I've always had very well-behaved dogs. Very well-behaved dogs. And even with the dogs we have now, I learn each one. I've made mistakes with each dog. So our current dog, Mango, our youngest dog, the mistakes I've made with Luca, I make sure I don't make with Mango, because I've learned. Okay? I let him do too much here. I let him get too excited here. Let him get too wound up here. You know, I let him forge in the heel a little too much because I didn't care, you know, because I knew I wasn't going to compete. But with Mango, I said, we're going to fix those things that I didn't perfect with Mango. And that's why Mango's a lot more stable and a lot more settled in and, you know, a lot more clean in the positions, because I learned from the mistakes I made with Luca. And that's what dog training is. You should be getting better with every dog you get. Every dog you get should be better than the last, because you learn. You're going to make mistakes with each dog. I do. You know, I'm lucky because now Sophia does so much. She does a lot of training with Mango, and it shows, because now she's getting more training. I don't have a lot of time to train my own dogs. I just don't. So I've gotten pretty good at getting very good results with my own dogs in a very short amount of time, because I don't have the time. But again, maybe I only get to train my own dogs 10-15 minutes a couple times a week, right? That's obedience. But inside the home, it's 24 hours a day. I don't slack off, ever. There's rules, there's boundaries. And Mango did not have free reign of the house like Buddy and Luca until she can handle it. Because if you give it too soon, the dog's going to be getting into trouble and making mistakes, and then you're fixing bad behavior instead of teaching the dog to be the dog that you want, which leads to a lot more freedom and a much happier life. The behavior is everything. That's the meat and potatoes. The obedience is the dessert, okay? It's the dessert. And the fancy obedience and the bite work and the proper e-collar training, that's all that stuff, that's the cherry on top. Utilize it all. So now we go back to systems. Whose system do you use? Whose system do you use? Well, I don't know why, you know, and I shouldn't say I don't know why. There's people that follow one trainer and use that system. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of benefits to it too, especially if you're competing in a specific sport to be real consistent, right? But I don't. On the behavior side of things, you know, that's my own thing. I've done very well for myself on the behavior side of things, you know, learning from different people, but always sticking to what I felt was right. And maybe it wasn't always right, but you learn from that. And then as far as learning from others on creating that powerful dog, you know, I've said it a million times and I hate keep repeating it, but Bart Ballone's been my biggest influence, you know, because the day I saw what he was doing with dogs, it blew my mind. And that lit a fire under me. That was the motivation, okay? That just set me, I completely changed the way I trained. I didn't use food before that, okay? I used e-collars a little differently. My dogs didn't look like his did. They did after that. Very quickly they started changing. You know, Ivan's influenced me. I've always played with my dogs, but Ivan's influenced me to really add to that and use it a lot more in the training program with the problem dogs. And I've never had the pleasure and the honor of working with Ivan, but I will. I retire in 6 months, and then I'm going to seek out all the people I want to work with and spend time with them. And Ivan's, you know, first on my list. I'd love to. You know, Michael Ellis put it the best when I asked him about Ivan. He's a dog training savant. He's just different. His mind works different. You know, he's a genius. Bart's a genius. Ivan's a genius. They train totally different, right? I pay $10 a month to subscribe to Dave Croyer's channel. It's phenomenal. Dave teaches things so clearly, but what it did was it gave me a little look at things, and it motivated me to get back to the little fine details of, you know, of trained retrieves and competition healing and all this stuff. And it's the best $10 you could possibly spend, you know? And I'm thinking, why are young trainers not subscribed to all these channels? And that's where you should be spending your money on education. Seminars are great, guys, but I know people that go from one seminar to another, you know, one seminar to another. I know people that are half my age that have, they've probably been to 40 seminars. They're still not very good dog trainers. And I'm not saying that to be rude, but what happens is they learn a little here, and never perfect it. The first time I went to a Bart Ballone seminar, I was obsessed. That's all I focused on. You know whose seminar I went to next? Bart Ballone. And I continued. I learned something else and became obsessed. You know whose seminar I went to next? Bart Ballone. You know whose seminar I went to next? Bart Ballone. And Bart said, why do you keep coming back? You know, you got this stuff. I said, no, I learned something every time. And I spent all that time perfecting it. Hey, Tracy. Tracy, your email made my day. Thank you. I truly appreciate that very much. Okay, back to behavior. Talk about my friend Tracy here, Australia. When I did the Australia workshop, she had a very tough case. She had a household with 3 dogs, if I remember correctly, Tracy, and one very, very strong pitty, like very strong. And what was the other one? Was it a husky or something, Tracy? But they were fighting, in-home fighting. I've worked with that a lot, and I've had a lot of success. So I watched Tracy work with the strong dog, and I told the crowd, all the people, there were a lot of people, I said, she's very good. She has phenomenal skills, very, very good. Okay, so now all we had to do was introduce to Tracy a little more on the behavior side of things. Hey, Tash, hey, Tom, right? So what did we do with those dogs? The 2 owners were there who were very emotional because it's tough, guys. These are big, powerful dogs that will kill each other. And so you're living by separating them. I don't separate them. I'm going to put them together, right? So I watched Tracy's bull terrier. It was a bull terrier, an American bulldog, and I forget what the other, there was another dog in the mix there, if I remember correctly. And so I watched Tracy's skills, you know, fantastic. Hey, Adam. And I said, okay, now bring out the dogs. And I think if I remember, she said, which one? I said, all of them, all 3. We're going to work with all 3. And that created a lot of anxiety in the owners right away. And I get it. We are in the people training business, guys. If you're a dog trainer, especially a pet dog trainer that works for Problem, we're in the people training. We're in the people education business, 100%, okay? We focus on the dogs for a small fraction, minuscule part of their life, right? So I said, get all 3 dogs. Now, right away, I'm sure everybody thought e-collar, punishment, corrections, the dog blows up, right? All that. No, I don't want to see the dogs blow up. I don't need to see it. I know it's there. So what we're going to do is we're going to get all 3 dogs together and we're going to move. But we're going to take control of the dogs. And we're going to walk and we're going to stop. And we're going to demand that the dog doesn't leave our space. And the dog has to relax. No tools, right? No e-collar assistance, none of this. But that's what everyone thinks. Oh, this guy, he puts an e-collar on every dog. What do you think? That we're going to address that problem with it? No. So we move. We're moving around the field. And the anxiety is getting a little better with the owners. One of them got very emotional. That's normal. You're scared to death and you hate seeing this. You feel partly responsible. And we walked and we stopped and we talked. And see, I like to talk to the owners in these situations because when you stop and you start talking to the owners about other stuff, not the dogs, talk to them about things they like. You know, I'm in Australia. Tell me about this. Where should I go? What should I do? Because when the owners start talking to you, they stop focusing on the dogs, which means they relax. And when the owners relax, the dogs relax. That's all we did. There was no obedience. You know, we started putting them on opposite ends and walking past each other and stopping and things like that. And it was real hot. And then we went and sat on the covered area where everybody, and we just sat down. And you know what all 3 dogs did, guys? They laid down next to each other. Never tried to attack each other. Not one time. And that's just the first few minutes of working with them. That doesn't mean the dogs are fixed, but that's how we start fixing them. And you show people a different way. Come, sit down, prong collars, e-collars, it wouldn't fix that, right? Now, do I want that pit bull or that bull terrier to live a life of just fixing those behaviors and that's what they live to do? No. That dog plays tug, we're going to play tug with it. We're going to teach it how to bite. We're going to teach it how to out. And we're going to give it that outlet. Okay? Really important. We want the dog to love life. And when the dog loves life through you, when you provide everything that dog loves, you have any idea how much easier it is when that dog does something and you say, cut the shit? It has meaning. The dogs get it. It has meaning. Okay, really, really important, guys. And so the behavior has always been more important to me. I forced myself to become halfway decent at teaching things, right? Teaching the fancier things, the high level obedience. So what I do with my dogs, I teach everything that they do in IGP, IPO. I teach all those things because I love it. I think it's great for you to spend the time to learn how to do it, learn how to teach it, and teach your dogs. The only thing I don't do is I don't track. And that's probably why I won't compete, because I'd have to start from scratch and learn from somebody and become good at tracking. And I don't have that kind of patience. I just don't, you know? But if you go back and watch the videos of Luca, 4 months old, and he's healing, strong, hard, going through all the little kids in my neighborhood, right? Well, what do you do when you go on the field for IGP, even if you go for the BH? That's part of it. I didn't do it because of that. I just always liked to teach everything with real distractions. So when I did just even put a BH on Luca, all those things were visible to him already. And if I had to just change little things, it was easy for him because he knew all the exercises in one way or the other. You may just have to tweak something here and there, you know what I mean? So for you pet dog people, I say it 1,000 times, you have to learn. Yeah, exactly, Adam. Lifestyle is training. You're always training, whether you know it or not. The pet dog people, you have to learn more on the working dog side. Go work with some good working dog people. It's going to make you a better pet dog trainer. I promise you. I promise you. Focus on that behavior inside the home. That's 24/7. Training starts before the training starts. Okay? Really, really simple. You have to do it. If my son, who's, you know, good athlete, or my daughter, who's big into the arts, dancing, plays, all that stuff, they have coaches for that, right? They go, they do that stuff. They can get world class at that stuff, right? They could be phenomenal. Baseball, basketball, dance, theater. But if they're little douchebag assholes inside the home, I failed. I failed. It doesn't matter how good they are at dance or at basketball. It doesn't matter. If they're little assholes, I have failed. And that's teaching them to live like a decent human being. And it's no different from your dog. You're teaching your dog how to be a decent dog. So if you're giving your dog everything constantly for free and they have access to everything all the time, right? They have the couch, they have the bed, they have anything they want. There's toys laying around. They don't have to work for anything. And then you go out and you don't understand why your dog is going crazy when it sees another dog. It's because it wants to get to that dog. It doesn't mean it's aggressive, but it wants to get to that dog. And it's used to getting what it wants. Because inside it's a little spoiled asshole and it gets everything. Let me tell you about this call I got today. Oh, this upset me. This fired me up. I'm shooting my new gun today. My Bravo company, AR, had a good man day. It was great. I get this call. Woman says, "Can I ask you a few questions?" I said, "Absolutely." She just rescued a Chihuahua mix. 2 weeks ago. And she said, she goes on to tell me how great this dog is. Wonderful dog. Couldn't ask for a better dog. And then she tells me that the only problem is the dog is going into full attack mode. I said, okay, be specific there. What does full attack mode mean? She said, well, she was messing with the garbage the other day, or he, I don't even remember. And she said, my husband yelled and said no and stomped his foot, and she attacked him. Full on attacked him, drew blood. I said, wow, yeah, that's a problem. And she said, she'll attack anyone that comes in the house. And when my pit bull got in there and tried to separate her, she attacked my pit bull. I said, okay. I said, how long ago did you get this dog from the Humane Society? She said, 2 weeks. I said, okay. She said, can you help me? And I said, no. I said, here's why. I said, if you call any other trainer in this area, they're going to tell you yes. They want you to write them a check. I said, I don't. I will not take your money for this. And here's why. You're going to spend a lot of money, and I can help your dog. There's no doubt about it. But when I give you your dog back, your dog's going to go back to being a little asshole. That Humane Society should have never given you that dog. So you've had that dog 2 weeks. The dog has a bite history, and it was still adopted out. Take that dog back and get yourself a dog that you can enjoy, and rescue a dog that deserves to be happy. That is not an asshole. I said, because here's what's going to happen. Don't feel bad about bringing that dog back, because one of two things is going to happen. That dog's going to bite somebody really bad and get put down anyway. Or that pit bull's going to eventually get tired and kill that dog. So either way, the dog loses. And the truth is, the dog shouldn't have been adopted out in the first place. And they really appreciated me being honest and not taking their money, but I'll never take money from someone like that. Anybody else around here is going to take their money. And nothing's going to change with that dog. You know what they're going to do with that little dog? Come, sit down, place, prong collar, maybe e-collar, right? And they're going to say, when the dog shows aggression, light it up with the e-collar. Never going to work. That doesn't work. I've never seen a dog's aggression fixed with an e-collar. Never. Never. And this is a very pro e-collar guy here, right? Doesn't work, guys. That is fixed through the behavior. 100% of the time. I can't stress it enough. I can't stress it enough. What you do in the house matters. If your dog is under 2 years old, for the most part, most dogs, and it just has free reign and does whatever it wants, and then you're upset because it tore the garbage up when you weren't around, that's normal, guys. It's not the dog's fault. For me, my dogs, the first 2 years of their life is full training. It's full control. I monitor everything. That's it. If I have a dog that's really trustworthy and it's laying in the living room and I need to go outside to get something, I may leave it there if I know that dog's not going to do anything, you know. And I've been fortunate. My dogs have been, you know. But we've never had a garbage can knocked over. We've never had anything chewed in the house. We've never had someone poop or pee on the floor, because I'm psychotic about those first 2 years. I just am. It's teaching the dog to be a self-sufficient creature within your household. And if you have multiple dogs, Robin says, so many people think they have structure in the home and the dogs are good when they're not. Yeah, people ask for very little, Robin. And that woman's statement right there was perfect. Like, it was blown, just a perfect dog. What a great dog. But goes into full attack mode. It's like, and I literally said to her, I said, you just said it's a great, that's not a great dog. You know, you got to bring it back. Wayne, there's a well-known trainer that you did a podcast with that shows fixing aggression with an e-collar. Fake? Wayne, I've never seen it work. You know, I don't know who you're talking about, and I'm not trying to bring anyone down or anything, but it doesn't work. And here's why, Wayne. This is what happens. You may stop that behavior temporarily because the dog wants to avoid the pain. That's all it is. But you're doing nothing to change the mindset. And for me, You can't change the mindset through only punishment. You can't do it, especially with the e-collar. Can't do it. I prefer corrections for that kind of stuff to come from me, okay? Not the e-collar. I don't do it. Now, if I have a dog that was human aggressive or dog aggressive, and the dog is fully trained, right? Very literate to the e-collar, and I'm walking down the street, and for some reason, all of a sudden, this dog gets my dog's attention and acts a little funny, then I could tap the e-collar without going high, and the dog will be like, ah, my bad. I get it. And I've shown it. That's what I'm trying to tell people. I don't just talk about this shit. I've shown it. Hey, JJ. And it's so simple. And I am no rocket scientist. And if I can do it, but that's the thing, guys. I keep things very simple. So when I see people talking all this jargon and you know, I did one video talking about the quadrants just to show people that I actually do what it was. I've never talked about the quadrants. I don't talk about negative, positive, R, X, Y, Z. I don't do it. You know why? My whole purpose is to help the client or the younger dog trainer if I can. No one gives a shit about that stuff. The dogs don't care. And in 20, going on 25 years now, I've never had a client say, well, can you tell me about these quadrants? No. You know what I did? I wrote an article once on the 5th quadrant. I did. I'm lying. I wrote an article on the 5th quadrant. You know what the 5th quadrant was? Who remembers if you saw it? The 5th quadrant was the owners. The most important quadrant. Okay? What's up, Jay? How you doing, buddy? That's what I wrote about. Because the owners are being neglected. I don't care if you're the best dog trainer in the world. Do what you want with the dog. Make it a superstar. But if you give it back to the owners and the owners do nothing and go back to implementing the bad habits, the dog's going to go back to the bad habits. It just is. It's not fair to the trainer. And it's not fair to the owner to write the check if they're not willing to change things. And it's not work, guys. It's not extra work. So when I give the dog back to someone, I ask for a lot. But I tell them, it's no extra work. You're already doing something. I'm just asking you to do this instead of this. And they're like, oh, okay. All right. Well, with the obedience, I tell them, give me 5 minutes twice a day. And they look at me kind of funny. They're like, 5 minutes? I'm like, yeah. If you could do 10, great. But just give me 5 minutes twice a day. That's all it takes, guys. It doesn't take a lot on the obedience side. You know, these are regular dog owners. They're not competing in the, you know, international, you know, IPO competition. Give me 5 minutes twice a day. You'd be surprised how much progress you could make with that. But the catch is, I tell them, you got to give me 24 hours a day inside the home. You have to do it. You have to do it. You know, there is no getting around that. I had, Abraham says, what about Bart's training that changed your view on training? Everything, Abraham. For one, I wasn't using food. At this point, Bart had started using food. And the thing was, the dogs were on fire. They looked tremendous. I mean, just full of heart and soul. They wanted to do the work. And it was a lot of little things. I wasn't doing a ton of bite work, you know, and I wasn't given rewards for things that gave me, like for instance, if we were teaching the out, you know, you teach the out and the dog outs and that's it. You know, I wasn't following up with a bigger bite, you know, giving the dog more, like Bart and Michael, I think it was actually Michael who said the dog has to have hope. And that's a really big line, guys. There has to be hope. And so that's changed everything for me. And then, like I said, you know, you have to play with your dog. I'm glad Jay's on here. He'll tell you. Jay is a big follower of Ivan. He's had the privilege of working and learning from him. And Jay's system is based on Ivan's quite a bit too. And you have to allow these dogs to play. It changes everything. Everything. So you don't have to do one or the other. You could have the best of both. But you have to be doing something different from everybody else if you want different results. You have to be. You have to do something different. And I do some weird shit. And sometimes it really pays off, you know? And sometimes I do some weird shit because everything else is failing. And that's why I talk about that stuff. If I do something weird and it works, I share it because I want to see it. Okay, the hands-off thing. So let's talk about first couple lessons, not handling the human aggressive dogs. I've heard people shit on that, and that cracks me up. Okay? Why did I start doing that? It was an accident. I was tired. I had just got done with a really shitty dog, human aggressive, and it wore me out. I'm not going to go through the whole story again. I've talked about it. But with the very next dog, I told the owners, take the dog over there. It was inside a tennis court. I stayed on the other side of the fence, and we did it with me instructing the owners. And it went very well. Second lesson, we did the same thing, and then we added some more, and it was like, shit, this is actually going really well. Third lesson is the first time third lesson, I brought my dog in, and then the group class. This was the first dog I did that with. This dog came to its first group class. I still hadn't touched the dog. And I was on my knee. There's a video on YouTube, and it makes no sense when people see it, but that's what this is. And I was talking to the group. And that dog pulled its owner to get to me and started licking my face and loving on me. This was a dog that was extremely human aggressive and dog aggressive, and they lived in an apartment complex. They were miserable. And the owner took out the camera and started filming, and the owner was bawling. She was crying because she couldn't believe it. I kind of couldn't believe it either, to tell you the truth. It worked out really well. I never touched the dog. So with the next human aggressive dog, back then I used to do a lot of that. I did the same thing. I said, let me see if this is just a fluke. Same thing. First 2 lessons, never touched the dog. Worked with the people closely. Took the stress away from the dog. Got the dog comfortable with me. Third lesson, I take the leash, work like a charm. No issues. I'm like, holy shit. Well, for the next many dogs, same thing. Over and over and over. Never fail. And so that's why I do that now. And what happens, guys, is when you have a dog that's human aggressive, it's stressful for everyone. The dog, the owners, the trainer. It's a lot of stress, a lot of conflict, you know. You could do it. I've done it. Very hands-on, dirty, right? But when you separate and you keep your hands off, the dog's able to learn in your presence without feeling that conflict, without feeling that extra anxiety and stress, and it really does wonders. And a big part of it is because the owners can settle down. And they can focus on doing the work instead of being scared of something bad happening. It makes a tremendous difference. I've had trainers, a couple of you are on here now, that have called me before, hey, I got this human aggressive German Shepherd, it's over my head, I can't do it. And I say, you could do it. You can give it a shot. You have nothing to lose. You're not going to touch the dog for a while. Let's see what happens. And the first one that said it, you know, sent video later on. He's like, I can't believe this. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. Like, this dog is crazy about me. I said, you did a great job. You did a great job, but you allowed the owners and the dog to learn without that extra stress. And in the process, the trainers learned a lot. And so people can doubt it. You don't have to do it. But I don't question something I haven't tried. I don't do it. I don't do it because these dogs, there's so many ways to get to where you want to go. There is no one right way. There is no one wrong way. And something that may look a little silly to one person may work very well. And so I've learned not to doubt anything or badmouth it unless I've tried it. Now, the one thing I don't have tolerance for is when you see a dog mistreated, you know, and handled really harshly. I don't have tolerance for that. You never see me on here bad-mouthing anybody. I don't do that. A while back, a few years ago, I used to spew a lot of negativity because I always had a few trainers in mind that bothered me of what they were doing. And so I found myself spewing a lot of negativity. And you know what that did? That did nothing positive. That didn't help anyone. Okay? It didn't help anyone. I was being an asshole by going out there and spitting this negativity constantly. And what that does, it teaches no one nothing. Doesn't teach anyone anything. Okay? It just doesn't. And so I said, you know, and I lost some, not friends over it, but Facebook people who just unfriended me and blocked me because they got sick of me being miserable and you know, talking so much like I was the know-it-all. Hey, Mike, how you doing, buddy? Hey, Emperor. Hey, Tom. And so what I did from there, instead of letting these trainers get to me who were doing really shitty work and harming dogs, I said, fuck it. I said, I'm not going to badmouth the work anymore and bitch and complain. I'm going to just show more of what I do. And if you like it, you can use it. If you don't have to. But I was part of the problem. Talking shit and worrying about what other people do, it doesn't make you productive. It just makes you an asshole. Same thing with the dogs. Being harsh and harming the dogs and forcing the dogs and lighting up with e-collars, that doesn't make you a trainer. It makes you an asshole. It's that simple, guys. Have a little decency and have some compassion for the fucking animal. It's that simple. I don't know why people struggle with that still to this day. You know? Yeah, Daniel, I've been on their podcast. Glenn and Pat are great guys. You know, great guys. Really doing so much in the dog world. I love those guys to death, and I'm proud to be part of that show. I'm proud that they've had me on there. The people in Australia, guys, are phenomenal. I mean, just world class, you know, and I'm so blessed that I got to go over there to a couple different places. Why those people would want me there, I have no idea. But they treated me like gold, and I absolutely loved being there and working and hanging out with those people. And I can't wait to go back. I really can't. I learned a lot over there. I learned a lot because people over there, they do things a little differently, you know. One of the locations we worked, guys, e-collars were banned. And in another location, you had to get a letter from a vet to use an e-collar, which is funny because most vets know nothing about dog behavior or training, right? And a lot of the people there weren't using e-collars because they were scared of harming their dog. I thought that was phenomenal. You know why? Because when you take a trainer or an owner that's hesitant to try something with their dog, it means they care. They care about the animal. And as long as you care about the animal, you can have success. It's that simple. And there's a lot of good people out there. Stay away from the negative people that don't put anything positive out, nothing good out. There's a lot of good trainers that put stuff out there, guys. And listen, even some of the bad ones put something good out every now and then, you know what I mean? Or some of the things a lot of people say are very beneficial to the average dog owner. And so I refuse to be one of those people that puts other people down. Now, what I did was the people that used to upset me when I would see their stuff, I just removed them from my feed. I don't want to see it. You know, why get myself upset? And then if I could provide something positive, I will. We have any questions, guys? I know I'm going on. I don't want to keep you guys too long. I'll try to answer some of the questions. Yeah, Daniel, Pat's awesome, man. He's got a hell of a future in this industry. Real smart dude. Him and Glenn, great guys, great trainers, and they're definitely good for the industry. You know, they really are. Sorry, replying to Jamie. Oh, gotcha. All right. I'll try to find some questions here if you have any here. Hey, Jennifer, Tim, Sherry. Hey, Aunt Pearl, my mother was telling me about all the food. You're killing me. Killing me. That's the one thing I miss about being home. I really do. Yeah, so if you guys have questions, Tim, Sophia, when she teaching Mango to down. Brilliant. Yeah, definitely. Even learn from her. Yeah, you know what, Tim? You know what I love about my daughter? From the time she was a baby, she doesn't take direction very well. She's a very strong-headed little girl, and I love that. She's a little tree hugger, and I love it. She's opposite of me. But when it comes to the dogs, she just has her own way of teaching them. And you know what she does? She gets beautiful results, and the dogs are crazy about her. You know? I'm going to tell you, I was telling someone these stories about her. My daughter was probably 4 years old, and I got really upset with her. She was really pushing my buttons, you know? And I had just had enough, and I yelled. She kept arguing back, and I told her, not another word. I don't want to hear another word. And she looked at me, and she started speaking sign language because she knew sign language. And I had to turn around because I almost pissed my pants. I'm like, I can't win with this kid. And then it was right around the same time she got punished, and I brought her up to the room, and I said, you are not going to see the light of day. And she walked over by her window. She looked outside. She went, the light of day. I had to turn around and walk out. I almost pissed my pants, man. But she's so good with the dogs, and Mango will work for her If you put me and her side by side, she's going to work with Sophia every time. They have a beautiful relationship. And you know how that relationship was built a lot, guys? When I would come home from work, Sophia had just got done maybe training with her, but you know what she does when she's done training? She don't say, okay, it's a wrap, and then go inside and put the dog away or go in the house. She'd sit down on the crate top with the dog, and they would just hang out together for a long time. And Mango would really look forward to that. As soon as they were done, she'd be looking for her, right to the crate, get on her lap, and they would just hang out together, spending time together. No talking, no doing nothing, just being together. And just being together with a dog does wonders. That's why homeless people have such phenomenal dogs, guys. Very rarely do you see a homeless person's dog acting like an asshole. You know why? They have to just be with them. They can't spoil them. They can't have toys laying all around. They can't feed them all kinds of shit. They can't coddle them. They can't baby them because people are struggling. And they're just together. But they're struggling together. You think those dogs think they're struggling? Move from place to place, walking all over the place. Those dogs don't know they're struggling. You know why? Because they're not struggling. They're just not. And so hopefully, I hope I provided a little something of something here. I didn't plan on doing this. Tune in Monday when I do the, live with my friend. And I know it's gonna, I'll catch a lot of ugliness from it. There's no doubt about it. You know what I mean? This shit that's going on, guys, some of it makes me sick, infuriates me. It absolutely infuriates me. And there's a lot of right on both sides, and there's a lot of wrong on both sides. But unfortunately, some of these coward politicians have let things get so far out of control. The American people are going to really pay for it. They really are. It's disgusting, Enough is enough. There comes a time where you got to say, can't act like that. Can't do it. You know what I mean? And so we're going to have a real open discussion. But we've been lifelong friends since the first grade. And I love the dude to death. And I know he loves me. There's going to be things we agree on. You're going to learn a little more stuff about me. Probably a little too much. My wife's probably cringing if I talk about my younger years. Because I was maybe a little bit of a lunatic in many ways. My background check when I started government service took a really long time, but I was open. I was always honest about everything. I was fucking crazy. I really was. But there was always people there that had my back, and so, like I said, I'm a loyal dude, and I'm going to be there for my friends. So thank you for all you folks that tuned in. I'm gonna go hang with my family now. And me and my wife decided, we made a deal. We weren't gonna have any. She wasn't gonna drink any wine. I wasn't gonna have any bourbon until we go to Florida. We go to Florida July 5th, and I haven't had any bourbon here in a while. But tonight it was just so nice out, and life is so short. I'm like, why would I not drink bourbon? Like, that's insane. And so I know when my wife saw me, she said, "You said you weren't gonna have anything." And I looked at her and said, "It makes you want some wine, doesn't it?" And she's like. So hopefully she went to get herself some, because I can't go get her anything now. I won't get in a car if I even have one drink. I don't do it. All the crazy shit I've done in my life, that's one thing I never mess with. If I have a sip of alcohol, I'm not getting in a car and driving. I just don't do it. But I do. I want you guys to tune in Monday, because the only thing I'm going to ask for people is that everyone is civil and no one says really nasty things, because there's going to be some honesty that comes out of my mouth for sure that's going to piss a lot of people off on both sides. But I think it's important, because this shit's getting out of hand, man. It really is. Do you know you can't buy an AR in the gun stores right now? You can't even order them online. You can't, people are scared. People are going crazy, The world is going friggin' nuts, man. But I don't know. There's a lot of shitty politicians out there. A lot of shitty politicians. You see the shit with Nancy Pelosi and these people out there with African scarves on and stuff bowing. You know what, guys? I used to tell my wife, I was like, I don't even know what it's like to be offended. Like, how do you get offended? You got to be such a pussy to be offended. I think that's the first time I was actually offended in my life. I was offended on the behalf of black people. I really was. Like, that infuriated me. That was so ridiculously low to do that. I thought it was a spit in the face to all black Americans. I really did. I really thought that was just disgusting. And that's about as political as I'll get tonight. And I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican, black or white. That was disgraceful. On the behalf of those Democrats that did that, to all my black friends out there, I'm sorry. I apologize on the behalf of them, because that was disgusting. I thought that was so unbelievably disrespectful. I really did. Man, people are disgusting. I don't get it. You people in Australia and Europe, you must be looking at us right now going, what the hell is going on over there? Yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I'm sorry I'm moving. My right ass cheek is killing me, because when I tore the hammy, I did something to kind of re-aggravate it, so I'm very uncomfortable. Again, I think this is my new favorite bourbon. Old Forester 1920, 115 proof. It's really good stuff. That's all I'm gonna have. But any questions, guys? You guys have any other questions? I know we're starting to lose people here. I go on a long time. You know, I love you long time. Yeah, no kidding, MF. Yeah, Adam, my brother, you know, you're someone I love to talk to. I apologize for those white people, Adam. It's fucking disgusting, man. Just, when I saw that, I couldn't believe it. I want to make a public apology to all black people all over the world. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that these are American politicians. Just, I think they really screwed themselves doing something like that, you know? Diogo, Larry, on one episode on YouTube, you talk about the negative eye look that some dogs sometimes have. Can you elaborate? Let me see if I can pull this up a little more here, Diogo. I can't see, I'm not seeing the whole question. It's not letting me. Yeah, I think one of the things, Diogo, that's overlooked in the dog world is, for me anyway, the dog's eyes tell me so much. Everyone's always looking at the tail and the body language. I look at the eyes. The eyes tell you everything. If the dog is down in the dumps, it's obvious to see. If the dog is happy or excited, it's down to see. If the dog is not feeling well, it's very easy to see. If the dog is confused, it's very easy to see. And people are not paying attention to the dog's eyes. Hey, Robin, I don't know if you're still there, but I've noticed a huge difference in your dog's eyes. There's life there all of a sudden. I don't know what you did different, but there's life there. And that's a beautiful thing to see, you know? I have a dog reactive bully breed. If he low growls, no teeth at a dog from distance, is it okay to... Yeah, they're not letting me open the whole questions here. Wayne, right there, a quick leash pop there normally is enough for that. Especially if you do the work beforehand, Wayne. And that's what I talk about. When you put in... Yeah, no kidding. Adam, I swear to you, we're going to get together out there, buddy. You know, I like your area. I'm gonna come out. I'm not gonna wear an African scarf. I don't want to offend anyone. We're gonna hang out, bro. I want you to tune in to me and my buddy Monday, please. Yeah, there you go. We started to play again. It's so important, Robin. I mean, that play, guys, it gives the dog life. And I've always played with my dogs. But again, thank you to Mr. Ivan Balabanov for being such a huge proponent and the spokesperson for that. You know, bringing the best out in your dog. And he's not the only one. But that's, you know, it's just his thing. You know, it's just his thing. And, you know, thank God in the dog world we have people like that. I mean, really, thank you. Thank you so much, you know. You look at Michael Ellis, you know, think about how much Michael has done in the pet dog world with his working dog philosophies. He's very popular in the pet dog world. And I don't know if he realizes how important he is in the pet dog world. I want pet dog people to take what they've learned from Michael, the amount of time they put into Michael, and start following Bart and Ivan and Dave Croyer. You know, you have all these people, Tobias Olenek, all these people. You know, there's so many people out there, guys. You know, so many people. Lori, can't be too terrible. Look at all those four-star generals going against the president. They never speak out, but they're so... You know, Lori, one of the highlights of my government career, I do, Wayne, but just call me, you know. You know, when I started my career, I've been fortunate to sit in on meetings with John McCain, you know, senator out in Arizona, and I sat in on a meeting with Janet Reno when she was Attorney General. And the thing is, I've worked under 4 presidents, okay? 4. Whether you're a Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you honestly from my side, from federal law enforcement side, the first 3 did nothing. Whether you hate Trump or love him, he's the only president that's ever done anything and allowed us to do our job. And actually did what he said, at least. So, you don't have to love him. You could hate his guts. And I know the things he says, sometimes I wish he wouldn't talk. I'm just telling you facts. I'm not telling you, you know, to look one way. I'm not trying to make you... I'm just telling you on the basis of my job, being a federal agent for 25 years. 4 presidents. The first 3 did shit. We couldn't do our job under the last one. We were scared to death. Okay, scared to death. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little story under the last president. They're a real bad apartment area here. I don't know where a lot of the people are from. They're like from South Pacific or something. Real bad place. Bad apartments. Whenever we had to go anywhere to find someone over there under the last president, when we would show up, we'd have to go with a lot of people because they'd get ugly and harass us. They were very brazen because they knew they were safe with our last president. Literally, the second Trump was elected, and I'm not bullshitting you, he wasn't even in office yet. He was just elected. The first time we showed up there to grab somebody, everyone scattered, scared to death, because they knew the bullshit was over. And so, I don't even mean to make this a political statement. I'm talking factual from a federal law enforcement side. You know, the first many years. In 6 months when I retire, I'm going to be a lot more open and talk about things that will blow your mind. I promise you. From a very non-partisan standpoint, I promise. I promise. Okay? When I started my career, if you asked me if I was a Democrat or Republican, I would have told you Democrat. That's what I thought I was supposed to be. You know, and working in the federal government, after a little while, I was like, whoa, they're doing what? I couldn't believe some of the shit that I saw going on. So for you people out there, there's really good on both sides. There's really wrong on both sides. You're letting the mainstream media do exactly what they want to do, and that's put both sides against each other. Black, white against each other. Brown, white against each other. Republican, Democrat against each other. Don't let it happen. Don't let it happen. The beautiful things with the dogs, guys, one of the things I love most, I work with all kinds. I never care what your political party is. I don't care. Means nothing to me, right? In the dog world, all we care about is dogs and dog training, and that's a beautiful thing. Don't let what you see. Hey, Aunt Rita, hope you're doing well. Don't let what you see on TV sway you, because it's done for a reason. I promise you. I promise you. Okay, don't let it sway you. Don't let it make you hate people on either side. You know what, guys? I'm going to say this last thing, and then I'm going to go. I don't want to bore you guys. The other day, I went to pick up some lunch for me and the kids. I went to a place here in Bowling Green. It's a pretty active bar / restaurant. Active place. A lot of people, right? I went in at lunchtime when things were in the middle of being at their worst. Really ugly. All the riots, everything. And I go in there and I'm waiting for my food to take it to go. And I'm looking around, and it was... the population, the clientele in there was pretty close to 50% white, 50% black. Really close. And I'm just looking around and I'm watching. And I'm noticing that a lot of the tables there were mixed. Some white dudes, some black dudes. White dudes sitting at the bar, black dudes talking to them. None of the shit that you saw on TV, and I'm thinking, this is what real life is actually like, you know? Not everyone's in the street hating each other. Now, you go to some of these bullshit liberal cities that have just let everything get out of hand. Yeah, but you think those are the local residents doing that? Come on, no. No, it's not. It's absolutely not, you know? And it was just, I really paid attention to that. I was like, this is all the time. Like, every time something like that is being pushed on TV, I'll go out and I'll pay attention. I'll see how people are acting. I want to see how the white people are acting when the black people are walking by. I want to see how the black people are walking when the white people are walking by. You know what always happens? Nothing. Nothing's ever different. The media sucks and they're full of shit, and they create this problem because if they didn't, they'd have nothing to talk about. Don't fall for the bullshit. You know, don't fall for it. Let's see. I think through all this, I gained compassion more than resentment, except for the MSM. I really don't like them. Yeah, no kidding. Go out real world and things are getting... Yeah, no doubt, Wayne. No doubt. It really is. The shit that... And that's why me and my buddy... That's why I'm doing the interview Monday, non-dog related, because I think it's important, you know? And when I saw my buddy put that video out to me, and he was real upset because he felt guilty because of me getting backlash for standing behind him, that broke my heart. I saw it in the gym, and he brought me to tears in the friggin' gym. I'm supposed to look like a tough guy in the gym, and he brought me to tears. And he shouldn't have to feel bad for me getting, you know, hate mail and stuff. I don't need, you know, I don't want him. I stand by my friends loyally. I don't... If someone... You know, some asshole commented on that and told me to stick to dogs. He likes my dog stuff, you know. And for the people that think I shouldn't have an opinion about anything else, well, fuck you. Okay, don't follow me. Block me. But if you think that I'm very opinionated. I do very well at keeping it to myself, you know. But there's nothing that pisses me off more that tells me I should only talk about dogs. Oh, so you could consume my free content, but I can't talk about anything else. Dan, flat buckle collar. Should I be using a thick one or just work with the one that comes with the dog? The only time I change it, Dan, a lot of these people come with a, you know, the buckles that clip together, and the collar is always so loose. That tells me a lot about the people, okay? There are people that are scared of the collar being too tight. That tells me a ton. I like a leather collar that buckles. You know, like the clip through the hole that way, not the buckle that snaps together, because those fail and snap and dogs slip out of them. And my biggest fear is having someone's dog get away. I would die. Like, I'm so scared of that. So I like a leather collar that doesn't snap together, but buckles together, you know, and it's just for safety for the dog's throat, and so he can't slip out of it. A couple weeks ago, my Scout had hot spots. I took him to the vet. I could tell he didn't feel well. We can't tell if he's happy. Yeah, absolutely, Jennifer, no doubt. Their eyes, that's good, Robin. I'm happy for you. I really am, you know. How you deal with a 14-week-old puppy barking at other dogs when they instigate him. The problem is my landlord's Yorkie barking at him nonstop when it's out there. Unfortunately, at that age, not much you could do, Lauren. You can't control other people's dogs. So for now, do the best you can to teach your dog and avoid it. Keep your 14-week-old puppy on a leash. And if your dog responds, don't be scared to correct a 14-week-old puppy. Just do it appropriately, you know. But people are scared to correct a puppy. You have to, guys. You have to. This is the time your puppy's learning the most. And what happens is people are scared to correct a puppy, right? And then they let all these behaviors go, and now the dog's 18 months old, and you go to correct it for something it's been doing forever, and the dog falls apart. Doesn't even know how to handle a correction. You got to make your dogs mentally tough. And that means when you don't like something, you have to correct it. It just has to be appropriate for that age and that size dog. Let's see. Flynn, what breed in your experience is the fastest to get a high level of obedience during training, excluding Shepherd's Mouse, smartest, basically? Border Collies, hands down. Hands down. One of the best dogs I ever worked with. Hey, Mike. Patty, the Border Collie. Check out the videos on YouTube. Patty, P-A-D-I, I think, or P-A-D-D-I, male Border Collie. Unbelievable, man. I mean, just unreal, you know. Border Collies, hands down. You know, the Australian cattle dogs are great. Australian Shepherds are great, you know. A lot of good dogs out there to work with. Some Dobermans can be great. You know, I love Pit Bulls are my favorite dog to work with. They just give you everything they have, you know. So, yeah, Border Collies, hands down, Flynn. Michaela, can you explain more about how strict the behavior should be in the house? Should they be on leash all times? It said, depends what age, Michaela. Okay, when you have a puppy or a really young dog, you know, don't separate the dog socially. Meaning, if it has to be crated, at least have the crate in there with the family. But a lot of, you know, like, you know, I have Malinois dogs like that. If you let out an 8 or 10-week-old Malinois with the family and your other dogs, you know what the puppy's gonna want to do? It's just gonna want to harass the other dogs and cause chaos. So I'll put the crate right there where we're at. So the dog is with us socially. It just can't get to us physically. And when it's not in the crate, it'll be on the leash until it can handle the freedom. Okay? So I decide when that specific puppy can handle it. Now, a lot of breeds are really easy, and you don't have to be that, you know, that strict with them. All depends on the dog. If they're not causing havoc, then you're fine. If they are, you got to have some restraint on them. You know, let's see. Wayne, yeah. Did I answer that? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I can't wait to hang with you, Adam. I really can't. Can you go into the difference between civil aggression and civil fight? Not a pet question. That's not I don't really understand the question too much, Adam. That's probably not my area too much. I could tell you from my perspective, something that I do that I don't talk about, and I don't do for many people, but I do train personal protection dogs. I don't show it. I don't talk about it. You guys may have seen a little bit of them here and there not knowing, but they're usually for high-profile people. And I never talk about high-profile people. I don't name drop or anything, you know. I respect privacy, and it's just not my thing. And so with a lot of the personal protection dogs, Adam, that I see people doing the training, I just cringe. Okay, I cringe. Because in personal protection, let's think about a real life scenario. You want the dog to be with the owner and literally protecting the owner, standing its ground and attacking if the threat comes too close. So when I see a dog chasing someone in a full bite suit and biting on the left arm, you know, that's not what I teach. And I'm not criticizing anyone who does that, but think about it in a common sense way. Most people are right-handed, okay? Right-handed. Most people, the majority by far. So if you teach a personal protection dog to run after someone, I don't need that. Personal protection is there with your owner. I don't want someone chasing someone down the street in a bite suit to bite, right? But then they'll have the dog bite on the left bicep. Most people are right-handed. When I go for a walk with my dogs or client dogs, I always have a knife on me. Always. Because I take the safety of my children, my dogs, and clients' dogs very, very serious. I am not going to let a stray dog attack anybody, whether it be my kids, my dogs, or client dogs. I will stop a dog by all means necessary for that. So I always go on a walk with a knife, just in case, right? That knife is going to be in my right pocket or in my right hand. If you send a personal protection dog at me and it bites my left arm, I'm going to be able to eliminate that dog very easily because the weapon's on my right-hand side and I'm right-handed. Yeah, it's going to hurt and you're going to do damage, but I'm going to be able to kill that dog. So in the personal protection game, the dog should be taught to target whatever arm the weapon is in. And if there's no weapon, I want it biting on the right arm. And as far as aggression, I want the aggression to be shown next to the owner. Okay? And when the fight comes, and I don't know if I'm answering your question, Adam. When the fight comes, I am not worried about the dog biting in the exact right area or having a nice. I don't want a calm grip. I want to fight. Okay, I want to fight. So if you've ever seen how Luca bites, he'll stay on the bite even when I go dead or someone else goes dead. He's still biting. He's still fighting. Right? He doesn't let go because the decoy is dead or stopped. He doesn't let go until you tell him to out. I don't know if I answered your question, Adam, but the dogs that I've done, how could I say this without sounding like an idiot? A couple of them have gone to really, really very high places, you know, not celebrities, not like country music people or actors or anything like that. But, and so for me, the first thing that has to be there is a very strong relationship and bond between the dog and the owner. The dog has to be incredibly stable, rock solid stable. Kids have to be able to pet the dog, kids that the dog don't know, okay? The obedience has to be 100% bomb proof. If you have those things with a good dog genetically, then the actual personal protection end of it, the real personal protection, is cake. It's very easy. The dog's going to defend. But all the biting starts as game, as prey, as play. The dog learns how to bite, right? But then the first actual encounter may be, you know, me with the dog at one end of an aisle of a grocery store and the owner at the other end. And someone approaching the owner and the dog's just watching. And if that individual starts getting, you know, a little squirrely or a little aggressive, if that dog shows any, you know, growling or barking, I'm going to encourage that. And I want that decoy that's not in a bite suit or a bite sleeve to look at the dog and take off. And then I'm going to praise the dog, and the dog's going to go be with its owner at its side. That's how it starts. So there's not even any biting with bite sleeves or bite suits for a while. You know, we build the dog's relationship, confidence, and obedience before it ever actually encounters a bad guy. That was long-winded, I know, but let's see. Negative. All right. I went to Walmart and I couldn't buy a BB gun. Yeah, Nathan, I know, man, it's crazy. You know, it's crazy. Heard about Seattle where there are 6 blocks taken over by Antifa. Ridiculous. Biggest mistake this country is making, man. Biggest mistake. Hey, Robin, how are you? You know, all right, guys. Yeah, Tim, good decisions come from experience. Experience comes from bad decisions, no doubt, buddy. Who should we pay to follow on YouTube? New trainer here. Great, appreciate it. Love your stuff. Pay YouTube? Nobody, Jesse. You know? But, and it all depends your field of dog training. But, like I said, I'm always going to go back to Bart Ballone, Ivan Balabanov, Michael Ellis, Dave Croyer, Tobias Olenek. I'm trying to think who else stuff online. Podcasts, you have the Canine Paradigm that talks about a lot of great stuff. You have Jerry Bradshaw's podcast, Controlled Aggression, has a lot of great stuff. Working Dog Radio has a lot of great stuff. You know, there's so much good content out there, and you just have to consume it all, Jesse, all of it. And then you take what makes sense to you and you make it your own, to your own personality and style. But there's no substitute, Jesse, for putting your hands on a lot of dogs. So for all you trainers that are starting off, one of the first things that you should have is a pretty rock solid dog yourself. If your dog isn't impressive in the behavior, it's going to be hard to sell yourself. You understand what I'm saying? Because your dog is your best advertisement. Your clients' dogs are your next best advertisement. And so that stuff's really, really important, guys. Really important. Oh, I'm just starting to notice it's getting dark out here, but I could still kind of see myself kind of nice here, you know. Thanks, MF. So, hey, Byron. But I hope I see you soon, buddy. All right. I think. Hey, Sharonica. Your baby is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous, Sharonica. Like, I'm so happy for you. Like, really beautiful. I love looking at the pictures. All right, guys. I think that should be about it. Starting to lose people. That's an hour and a half. I'm going to go probably drink the rest of my bourbon here. Go annoy the wife and kids. Thank you for tuning in. And please, jump in Monday. I'm going to have pretty serious talk with my buddy. You know. Hey, Aunt Pearl, my Cosmo tries to hump and jump on you aggressively when we try to leave the yard. Not sure what to do. Aunt Pearl, I only know one joke, and I'm going to have to tell you in private, but it goes something like this. How do you stop a dog from humping your leg? I'm not going to give you the answer because it's gotten me banned from so many Facebook groups. It really has. And it's extremely vulgar. I'm going to send you an email, Aunt Pearl, and tell you the punchline to the joke. And try it. It works. I promise you. It's so bad. It really is. Thank you, Katerina. Appreciate that very much. My wife would so disagree with that, okay? Hey, guys. Reno, listen, MF, I love the Reno area. Yeah, me and Joel Silverman will be in Tucson December 5th and 6th, I think it is, okay? And Joel's awesome. I'm looking forward to working with him. Thanks for all the support, guys, as always. Thank you for tuning in. You guys rock. If I could help you, I'm going to try. I don't have all the answers, but, you know, still learning myself. So, in 20 years from now, if I'm still alive and I think I know it all, then it will be time to wrap it up and end this stuff. But I can guarantee I won't be there, you know. Hey, Russ, what's going on, buddy? You know, wait, you can't leave us saying, no, Russ, it's really, I don't want to offend anyone. It's really inappropriate. It really is. And there's people on here that I don't want to upset. All right, I'm going to tell a really dirty joke, guys. It's brutally vulgar. So if you're easily offended, please tune off right now. I don't want to upset you, really. There's a lot of people on here that are a lot, you know, cleaner cut than I am. So please, I don't want to upset you and make you hate me. I'm going to tell a very vulgar joke right now, okay? You ready? Okay, the joke is, this has got me kicked out of a lot of groups. How do you stop a dog from humping your leg? It's easy. You pick him up and suck his dick. And it actually works. It really does. I'm so sorry. My wife is going to really, it's not good, okay? If you get pissed at me, I warned you. It's just a joke. It's just a joke, guys, okay? It's just a joke. Don't be mad. Salute to all of you folks. And listen, whether you hate me or love me, whether I hate you or love you, as long as you're doing good by the dogs, that's really what it all comes down to, guys, you know? And I hope this country just gets its shit together. And no, Aunt Pearl, it works. I'm not kidding. I'm talking to my aunt like this. You know? Yeah, it's literally got me kicked out. When I used to do dog groups, which I don't do anymore, they're ridiculous. They're worse than Democrats or Republicans. It's got me. Holly, it's the only joke. Someone told me that 20 years ago, and it's literally the only joke I've ever remembered. I was in tears when they told me. And so it's the only... No, Greg, don't tell my wife, because she gets so mad. She gets absolutely so pissed. My wife is very straight and narrow. We are so opposite. Like, so opposite. Thank God, you know, my kids have a chance. You know? Thanks, guys. Really. Appreciate you all. Y'all have a good night. Peace.